think we all probably have a sense of what it means to build to the chorus. But what about shrinking to the chorus? How would that work? God's Plan, this week on American Popular Song Today. Roll 'em! We're back! Teddy and I are so happy to see you again. Let's get right to it. In the first minute of God's Plan, Drake travels from the introduction to the first chorus, making a bounty of interesting choices along the way. Focusing just on the endings of each line, we'll see how he bravely undertakes the rare maneuver of shrinking to the chorus. Shrinking means we start big and get small. So to really understand the effect, we have to pay close attention to our starting place. Here are the endings to the first 4 lines.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Right off the bat, there's a lot of very satisfying stuff going on. Back to the paper. First, the rhyming U sound in the first syllable, trouble, struggle, cuddle, lovin', is like a thread tying these 4 lines together into a perfect little package. Second, Drake ends each line with the word me, again tying the 4 lines together, but also drawing special attention to that word. Why would he repeat me 4 times, and in such a prominent place as at the end of each line? In a subtle but clear way, Drake is engaging in the good practice of letting everybody know right at the beginning what the song is about. Despite the title, God is not the main personality in the song. It's all about Drake. Drake's life, Drake's reputation, Drake's achievements, Drake. Finally, all 4 of these phrases have the same rhythm, bum 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 bum, which I've notated like this for the visually inclined. So we've got a pretty good starting place. The rhyming sound, the repeating word, and the parallel rhythm. Before we move on though, I have to point out something that perhaps you've already noticed. Look at this. Trouble, struggle, cuddle, lovin'. To my mind, that LE sound should have carried into the 4th line. Why didn't he do that? There are 2 possibilities. Either he introduced... Teddy, stop it. Good boy. Either he's introduced this variety as a kind of punctuation on the first quatrain, or he got careless and wasn't looking closely enough to catch the mistake. I want to believe it's the punctuation, but nothing in the song really bears that out. So it might be a mistake. It's just my opinion, but I don't think number 1 hits should have mistakes. Do you agree? Okay, that's our starting place. Let the shrinking begin! You didn't shrink, buddy. You grew. You used to fit in my hand. Here are the next 4 phrase endings.
I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story, shit was different with me.
Before we talk about lines 1 and 3, let's just notice how well these 4 endings imitate the first 4 endings. Like before, we have a recurring rhyme in the first syllables, this time the I sound in miss, wish, live, and diff. And we have a repeating word at the end of each line. In fact, it's the same word as before, doubling down on its importance and even stitching all 8 lines together. Finally, 2 of the lines duplicate the earlier rhythm. But the other 2 lines have shrunk, and they've shrunk in the same way, which makes it look deliberate. In both cases, the 2 middle syllables and the last note in the rhythm have been cut out. The million-dollar question is, why? The answer after this word from our sponsors. We have no sponsors and will continue immediately. Shortening those lines begins a pattern that's only going to get more exaggerated as we approach the chorus. Watch. The next group of lines gets shorter in not 1, not 2, but 3 exciting ways. First, and most dramatically, there's a shift in the placement of these phrases within the 8-beat loop. Here's the loop. So far, all of the phrases began on beat 1, and what I'm calling the phrase endings hit on beat 5.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me.
Now these next phrases won't even begin until beat 4. Listen. Because the loop stays the same length, that delay adds to the sensation that the lines are getting shorter. The shift also means that there's less room at the end of the loop for a denouement. Let's listen to the endings of these phrases, and you'll see the other two ways that the lines have shrunk.
I hold back, sometimes I won't. I feel good, sometimes I don't. I finesse down Western Road. Might go down to G.O.D. I go hard on Southside G. I make sure that Northside E.
So good! Instead of groups of 4 lines, now we have groups of 3, separated by a shift in the rhyming sound from the O to the E sound. Finally, if we think back, we recall that the first 4 endings all had 3 words, like trouble with me. The next 4 endings had 3 and 2 words, like miss me. And now Drake has shrunk the endings to just a single word, and in the second set of 3, a single letter. On that note, what a shame that he didn't reverse the order of those last 3 lines. It would have been so perfect for the dwindling pattern to go from 4-letter words, won't, don't, road, to a 3-letter word, eat, to the single letters. It's a missed opportunity. Reversing the order of those 3 lines also would have had the nice effect of ending the lead up to the chorus with the line, might go down a G.O.D., drawing attention to it and creating a nice contrast between Drake's godlike reputation and the underlying theme of the song, God's plan. Instead, he buries it in the middle of the verse, so I'd call that a missed opportunity on 2 levels. Well, we've traveled quite a distance, and the chorus is just around the corner. Drake has shrunk the endings down to a single letter. What can he possibly do now? These are extra socks. I brought them for you because your socks are about to be knocked off. Teddy, pay attention over here. In the last line before the chorus, he says just 2 words, and still.
And still.
In context, and still has the primary meaning of and yet, but it also conjures the notion of stillness, of having dwindled down to nothing, to emptiness, to saying, and now we are still. Right on cue, the percussion drops out, leaving an open space for the chorus to gently and unobtrusively finally enter.
Bad things, it's a lot of bad things that they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish and...
Bravo! Glad I brought these socks. To take a page from Jerry Springer, final thought. We talked a lot about building to the chorus, growing and growing until we actually overflow into the chorus. But here, Drake arrives at the chorus not by growth, but by careful and steady diminishment. I don't know if God has a plan for Drake, but Drake definitely has a plan for the first minute of his song. We're out of time, and that's too bad because there's a lot more to say about this number. We haven't talked about the chorus. We haven't talked about the title. We haven't talked about how minute 2 is so different from minute 1. But we have talked about the concept of shrinking to the chorus, and that's a nice tool for our toolbox. Next week, Bruno Mars and Cardi B finesse on American popular song today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing makes you feel good inside, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Good job. You like the guitar? Did he just say yes?